Episode 84. You're already smiling. It's not going to be a lot of smiling for me this episode of the Purple Pain podcast with Sutton Def and Simply AS10. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Do we have a lot to talk about? Possibly me scream about. It was an ugly week for the Ravens. Very ugly. But we're back. That brings a smile to our face. Well, before we start anything, you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain podcast. It's just engraved in my head, honestly. It's just follow that guy right there, Instagram, Twitter, at SunDef. Pretty simple. Follow me, Instagram, simply as10.prod, or on Twitter, simply as10.
Yes. Welcome to episode 84 of the Purple Rain podcast. Like you said, the Josh Oliver episode. Big shout out to him. Obviously, this episode is going to be dedicated to him. Even though he's not, a staple Ravens player, but he's on the squad, so he gets an episode dedicated to him. And we've only got 16 more episodes while we can do this.
I don't know what we can do. From 100 to 1. We'll think of something. We'll think of something.
But in the meantime, we do know the entire Rain Gang is here in full effect in the chat. We appreciate all of you guys for coming through to this episode of PRP. Mod K-Dog, Purple Rain Pioneer K-Dog, is in the house. Says, yo, what's good, Rain Gang family? What's good, K-Dog, man? Thank you for joining each and every show. Like, literally each and every show, man. We appreciate you so much. Darius the Official says, Rain Gang, our guy, another Purple Rain Pioneer. What's good, man? Got a lot to talk about. Absolutely. Christopher Swain, another PRP, Purple Rain Pioneer. It's been a while. It's been a minute for sure, man. What's up, man? How you doing? Let us know. Let's see what else. Who else we have in here? We got our guy Hemo4. Hemo4 is in the building. Says a huge need for a running back. Yeah. I feel that. J Prime 235 in the house. Dylan Paul in the house. J Rid 2024 in the house. Raven Ron in the building says, what up, PRP? Still number one, but conference losses hurt us later. That's true.
They do.
That's true.
They do.
We always talk about, we don't always talk about, nobody really talks about the fact that Lamar Jackson is in the Ravens, is undefeated against NFC teams. But that's in part because, the losses matter when it comes to AFC teams, right? Because, when you lose to those teams, it kind of hurts you when you're trying to get into the playoffs. But, we'll get into that a little bit later. But what's up, Raven Ron? Thank you for joining the show. Snipe Gang Douglas YouTube says, yo, what's up, Rain Gang? What's up, Douglas? How you feeling, man? Appreciate you for coming through. Lisa in the building says, hey, guys, the tackling in Miami was sloppy. How do we fix it? Great question. We'll get into that for sure.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. Tanja Bowman in the house says, hey, Purple Rain Gang and the flock. What's up, Tanja? Thank you for joining the stream. Appreciate you for coming through each and every time. Exley in the building. Kwoni 4 times says, what's up, gang? What's up, man? You guys are all in here. We got Yolanda in here, too. Isaac is in here. Julian is in here. Everybody's in here. We appreciate all of you guys for coming through and watching this live, PRP. If you're not watching this live and you're part of the hashtag replay gang, we appreciate you just as much. We love you guys so much. Make sure you leave a hashtag replay gang down below because we love to get back to you guys and we love to get you guys' opinions on the episode as well. We got our guy King. King is in the house too. Big shout out to King.
Yes.
What's up, man? So we got everybody in here. We need all you guys fired up.
It's gonna be a healthy conversation.
It's gonna be a very healthy conversation. I hope you guys are ready.
This isn't what you want to talk about, but it's like what you need to talk about.
It's what you need to talk about, right? Not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. My guy Julian says tough week for the AFC North. Definitely was. Definitely was. You see that tie yesterday with the Steelers and the Lions?
I watched it. Hey, Pat Frymouth, don't do too much. That's what happens when you do too much in the NFL. You make a mistake. So
definitely made a few mistakes. He had a pretty good game though. He had a pretty decent game. What do you have, like 2 touchdowns, right?
I know he had 2 against the Bears on Monday night. We didn't even get to talk about that, dude. That game was a shit show.
Oh yeah, we didn't. Yeah, it was. Kind of was. But
the officiating's been very suspect in the NFL recently.
Definitely has for sure. We'll talk a little bit about that later. But man. Let's talk about these Ravens, man, because, the title of the video is as follows. What is the real problem with the Ravens? Like, what's really going on? So obviously we have not touched bases with the Rain Gang with you guys since the Ravens' last football game, which was our loss to the Dolphins 22-10 on Thursday Night Football, prime time for the entire globe to see. The Ravens got their asses handed to them in a royal fashion. Plain and simple. So we're here to talk about it right here on episode 84 of the Purple Rain podcast. Make sure you like this video before we get into anything else. Like the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you are new here, because we will be publishing a lot more content soon. So make sure you're on the lookout for that. But I just kind of want to touch bases with the stats from that game real quick, because I know it's been a couple of days, but let's hear about the passing yards, the leading rushing yards and receiving yards from each team. So passing yards, Lamar Jackson, he threw for 238 yards, 26 for 43 on attempts, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Tua Tagovailoa, on the other hand, who actually ended up playing the majority of the game.
Losing to him in itself should count for 2 losses. Like, you shouldn't be losing to him or Jacoby Brissett.
Really, you shouldn't. No. But I don't feel like we lost to the quarterbacks. I feel like we lost to the defense, to the Miami defense. Oh, yeah. That's who we really lost to.
They're literally game managers. That's all it is.
That's all it is. Like, that's all they had to do. That's sad. Think about that. That's sad. All they had to do to beat us was manage the game on offense.
Yep.
That's all they had to do. Don't make a
mistake. Don't throw a pick. Don't fumble. That's all it was.
That's sad. And that tells me that, like, ooh, I want to get into it right now, Alex. I really do. I want to bring up the coaching. I want to bring up a lot of other things too, but we'll get into that in a couple minutes. Let me get through the rest of these numbers, okay? Tua Tagovailoa, 8 for 13, threw for 158 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Rushing yards, Lamar led the Ravens, 9 carries for 39 yards. Let that sink in. Lamar led the Ravens in rushing, 9 carries for 39 yards. Myles Gaskin led the Miami Dolphins, 14 carries for 31 yards. So not really anything going on the ground with them either. Receiving yards, Rashad Bateman led the team in receiving yards. Bateman, you guys see what I'm wearing tonight? The Batman logo right here on my chest, man. Rashad Bateman, 6 catches for 80 yards, no touchdowns or anything like that. But hey, man, he's proven to be that missing piece in the Ravens offense.
If you keep talking, I'm going to want to talk about this coaching too. I'm like, it's getting me even more pissed off. That man was on the sideline.
I know, man. But Albert Wilson, for the Miami Dolphins, he had 4 catches for 87 yards on Thursday night against us. And just a couple of the team stats real quick. I wanted to talk about the time of possession.
Okay.
So the Ravens actually beat the Dolphins in time of possession, 31 minutes and 49 seconds to 28 minutes and 11 seconds. And we still lost that game. And what that tells me is that we have 0. And when I say 0, I mean 0 efficiency, firepower, or prowess running the football. We really don't. Mm-hmm. We really don't. And that was one of my biggest issues. That's been one of my biggest issues this season. And listen, guys, I understand it. I know we lost J.K. Dobbins. I know we lost Gus Edwards. And now we're relying on Lamar Jackson to carry us with the running game. But that's just not how it's going to work. It's not going to work like that. It's just not. And we saw that in this Thursday night matchup. We've seen that multiple times this year. Sometimes we're just able to squeak out victories, so we forget about what happened in the game, right? So, with that being said, I want to turn it over to my guy, Alex. I want to get his initial thoughts and reactions on the game. What's got him so fired up tonight about the Ravens? And what's the real problem, Alex, with the Ravens right now? Let us know.
All right. Let's get that out of the way. Sammy Watkins should have been playing. He was not 100%. I didn't get that from jump. There's no point to rush these players back when it's a longer season. And he just didn't look like himself. That wasn't the Sammy Watkins we saw week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With the whole, he lost it in the air. And then the fumble and just everything, that was not the Sammy Watkins we saw him. He was taking snaps away from one Devin Duvernay, which when the ball's in his hand, he literally does great things. That made no sense. And was taking snaps away from Rashad Bateman too. I don't know why the hell Rashad Bateman even thought about being on the sideline.
Exactly.
And just this running back by committee, I don't think these coaches understand, because I'm putting a lot of blame on the coaching. Don't know what type of fan that makes me. Probably a fake fan. But I think as a running back, wouldn't you think you need, maybe 2 or 3, 4 runs in a row to kind of get some type of momentum, get in a groove? It's a different running back every single play. We can never just get one running back to just have that game. It's literally at most what they get 50 yards a game for one. If we're being
Yeah.
generous, it's bad. It's bad. And then on the defense, I have a really big problem with old chain boy Wink. Um,
Mm.
he runs a very complex defense that we all hear about, but the majority of our defense is very young players, and they get confused. And when they get confused, that's how that Albert Wilson play when he was literally going in motion, going around, and nobody picked him up. And that's what
Mm.
happens. So that's
Yeah.
just the start of kind of things I'm very annoyed about. I haven't even gotten to the cover zero, cover one BS because I think we can both have a healthy conversation about that.
Right.
Very healthy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I completely agree with you. And just like you said, like on the offense, it seems like our running backs can never get in any sort of like rhythm or get any sort of
No.
like momentum going. I feel like honestly, Alex, it's the same thing on the defense. No, so like think about like what Wink has them doing. Like you said, it's a very complex system. He
Yep.
has guys doing a lot of different jobs. You know, Bill Belichick, his whole thing is, hey, do your job, do that one
Mm-hmm.
job, that one thing that you're good at. But I feel like what
Yeah.
Wink does is like it's more so like, hey, I don't care when you came in the league, if it was yesterday, if it was 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 years ago. Look, you're gonna do this, and then you're gonna do that, and you're gonna do this all in the same play. You know what I mean? And like they put a lot of responsibilities on all of these players, so it doesn't really allow like somebody who's a natural pass rusher like an Odafe Owe to just rush the passer, simply rush the passer. He's not
And
going to
he
be
got a
able to get
sack
into a
too.
rhythm because he got a sack. But like you
Who
see
would have
guys
thought?
like Odafe Owe dropping back into coverage. It's like, no, that's not what we need. We need guys like Owe going after the quarterback. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just as simple as that to me. And like that was one of my like biggest issues with like the coaching in this game and kind of throughout the season. You know, like we really don't let guys get into rhythm. Like it be
No.
possible that this Ravens coaching staff does not let their players get into a good rhythm?
Yeah, and they don't play him in the right positions either. I
Right.
mean,
And
is it? Do you think it's a surprise Patrick Queen's like jumped up 50 levels? It feels like since he got moved to
right.
this position.
Yeah. A more simplified position for him. It's
Right.
like I don't get why like you said Alex, like there's a lot of young players on this Baltimore Ravens defense, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like Wink Martindale, he's throwing freshman players calculus 4. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's what he's
Yeah.
doing, and it's like it's not working out. You need to simplify the game for these guys in order to slow it down for them quicker so they can put themselves in more opportunities to make plays. And
Yeah.
that's my biggest gripe with the coaching staff right now, man. It's not just Greg Roman, it is Wink Martindale as well. um I had a lot of people respond to me on Twitter the other day about, just sacks and everything like that.
Oh
Like,
boy.
you see what Matt Judon is doing in New England, right?
I see what he's doing. I see what Yannick Ngakoue is doing. I see.
Right.
I see.
Yeah. It's really like it's really eye opening. Like Matt Judon has 10 sacks. 10 sacks right now. Daquan Christian says it right here. Shall we talk how Matt Judon is playing at an all-pro level? Yes, he is. Want to know why? Because Bill Belichick is letting him pin his ears back and go towards the quarterback, rush the quarterback.
Yep.
That's what he's letting him do. What he's supposed to do. What he's meant to do. But like we don't
I
let our guys do that.
and I think let's just talk about how in 2019 both our coordinators, went on interviews for head coaching like for a spot.
Yeah.
Were they picked up? No.
Nope.
Joe Judge got hired over Wink Martindale
Mm.
in New York. Greg Roman, he visited the Browns. Like,
That's
I
saying
just,
something, right?
yeah, they weren't picked up and for good reason. And I wanted to give Greg Roman one more game, but I can't anymore. He's wasting Lamar's potential. He really is. I mean, I do want to get into this whole cover 0 and cover 1 and what they were showing him and how there were
Yeah.
no adjustments made. Because if you're seeing this, I'm seeing it, bro. What are we doing? Like Lamar literally had no time to even think about what was going on, how to get it out, and
Yeah.
just nothing was. And these screen plays, man. Like you're calling screens on 3rd and long. It's not like
Back to
it's.
back.
I just don't know what he's thinking. Like someone needs
It's
to
silly.
rip his ass out that booth, and I don't know what. It's
Oh
really
my
hard to watch this.
gosh. It's insanely hard to watch two screen passes called back to back. like back to back. I know like Lamar as a quarterback is probably thinking to himself like, okay, what the hell are we doing? Like,
Right.
what is this play call? Like, are you serious? And you saw Lamar's frustration on the sideline. I think it was like what third
Yeah.
quarter, like early fourth quarter, something like that.
Yep.
And he's
Yep.
walking up and down the sidelines. He's yelling at guys. He's just fired up. Because
Yep.
he knows that this offense should be producing at a way higher rate, especially against a Miami Dolphins team.
31st ranked. That and there enough is fireable. I
Right.
just don't know how somebody can just defend Greg Roman. The
Right.
amount of people I see defending these coordinators online, you would think they're on the Ravens payroll. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how you can just defend some of the stuff we've seen.
Like the 31st ranked defense, right?
10 points and a garbage time touchdown. Garbage time.
Right.
Call it what it is. Garbage time.
It was a garbage time for sure. It definitely was. 31st ranked defense, man. And like you said, the cover 1, cover 0, that was what beat us. That tells me that like since they could not adjust from the first half to the second half, that tells me, hey, it's less on the chess pieces, that's on the player. That's on the person moving the chess pieces, the one calling the plays. You know what I mean? I put more of this loss, I really do, on coaching. I really do. Because I did not see the adjustments that I needed to see. And I think it was honestly the one silver lining. I feel like, and I said this about the Bengals game, I feel like this is definitely another wake-up call. It's a wake-up call. It's one thing to lose to a divisional opponent who can give you some go and can kind of like contend with you anytime. They're a tough out every game you play them. But to lose to an AFC East opponent who has been not historically, but like in recent memory, just very, very bad, and the last time we played them, we blew them out the water. For them to come, and do that to us is just completely unacceptable. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, man. And like I said, it's a wake-up call. So hopefully moving forward that, going into this next game against the Bears Sunday at 1:00, that they can kind of regroup from that and they can just, make adjustments. Because that's gonna be the thing that we're gonna have to do with this season, because with all the injuries, with everything, all the adversity that we're facing, we're going to have to be able to make adjustments on the fly like that. And that's something that historically this team and this coaching staff in particular has not been able to do. So hopefully we can get better at it.
I remember I put something out before the trade deadline. I'm like, this team isn't a Super Bowl team. And I received slack for it. Like, oh, the AFC it's wide open. And I think it's still wide open. I just don't know how you can look at this team right now. Right. And please, you can bring this back up if I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. And just say, this is a Super Bowl. I don't know. How can you say this is a Super Bowl team? Yeah. I don't know how you can defend it. If anything, we got to get the playoffs. Let's just win another game. Not even AFC Championship. You just got to win another game.
We just got to win another game.
Because hopefully you can just get rolling in the playoffs. But, I mean, I look at our schedule. Browns twice. Steelers still going to play them. The Packers, who just shut out the Seahawks. The Rams, who just got better. We didn't talk about Odell Beckham Jr. The Rams getting I just don't know. I mean, I'm hoping we can make the playoffs. Thankfully, there's 7 wild card spots. I think we can. I think we will.
Yeah, man. I hope we will. I hope we will. Like at this point, man, it seems like because we're winning a lot of these games, but like we're winning them by like the hair on our chin. Literally, it's very close.
We beat the Lions on a record field goal.
On a historic field goal. We beat the Minnesota Vikings in overtime. Ball went back and forth too. In overtime. Just barely beat them. So it's just like
and the Chiefs, I mean, they didn't look like the same Chiefs. Like I said, they looked good last night. They looked very good last night. But up until then, they looked shaky too.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. We do have our very first super chat donation of the night coming from Yolanda. Thank you so much for donating on this episode of Purple Rain Podcast and making it rain here. Episode 84 says, the coaching staff failed us miserably on Thursday. Adjustments must be made. Yeah, absolutely.
And some players failed us on Thursday too. I can't lie.
Who are we talking?
I think Chuck Clark failed us.
On the single high coverage?
Then I mean, that just...
Can't have that.
I don't know what to say with our safeties. I've been calling for our Darius Washington, but they
Yeah.
want to make him a slot corner. I don't. Brandon Stevens, Geno's like we can't run one safety high. Chuck Clark is not fast enough to make up ground.
Not a
They're
ball
too
hawk.
young. There's just so many holes in this team. It's kind of depressing talking about it.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
depressing.
It is, man. And, that single high safety look, man, with Chuck Clark, that was really kind of the play that ended the game in a lot of ways because, we were low key because I think that was after, and I may be wrong. I think that was after we scored that touchdown, the Mark Andrews touchdown. And we were kind of inching our way back into it. It seemed like we kind of had a chance if we could just stop them, the defense could get off the field, give the ball back to the offense. We may have a shot at this. And I think it was like third down, right? And that play happens, and like Chuck Clark gets beat in, something that should have, in theory, been his responsibility. But at the same time, I get why he stayed back there and didn't really
Yeah,
push up on that, the player in motion because he's responsible for that whole deep half of the field.
yeah. The
So
middle
if he
third.
pushes up, that whole middle third. So if he pushes up on that guy in motion, then hey, anybody else can go deep, and it's
Yeah,
just a free range, just free shot, free deep shot down the field. So I get it, but he was completely out of position, and it was
yeah.
just bad. It was just bad.
I mean,
So yeah,
Marlon Humphrey played good. He shut Mike Gesicki down. I think when they're with Devontae Parker out. I mean, we lost. They didn't even have Devontae Parker, and we still lost. He shut down their next best weapon, Mike Gesicki, and Anthony Averett. I mean, once again, just confused out there. Just gets ran by, and he's wide open, running down the sideline. Wide open. It's just so many miscommunications that it's just. I'm not. It's like I'm not even surprised. I'll just be like, LOL, LMAO, because it's just like it's not like I just expect it. You just know what's gonna happen, and you just don't know when, but you know what's gonna happen.
yeah,
And then just
yeah.
the Sammy Watkins fumble, just kind of
Oh yeah,
we have players they try to do too much, and when you try to do
yeah.
too much, you make mistakes. Kind of like Pat Fryermuth.
That Sammy Watkins fumble also was one of those plays that kind of sealed the deal. That really
Yeah,
sucked. That really sucked. Our guy Click One in the house says, "Yo, yo, yo, PRP, what's good?
so
What's
click
up, Click
one.
One? Thank you for joining the show. We appreciate you, man." Um, King says Chuck Clark got dunked on.
Oh,
That was bad. It was bad.
okay.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Let's see. I got Mod Boz in the house giving a happy belated birthday to J Rid 2024. Was it your birthday the
Happy
other day, J
belated.
Rid?
Happy
Happy
belated, J
belated,
Reed.
man. Yeah. And thank you for coming through the stream. We appreciate you. But yeah. Another thing that I wanted to talk about that game, Alex, is just once again the Baltimore Ravens offense inability to start fast, to get, something
It's
going early. It just seems non-existent, right?
and it
Like
was
I
a good
don't
drive. We had a drive going. And we put three up. Next drive go down. We missed a field goal and then kind of went downhill. But we were putting stuff together. Mark Andrews, I know, had a good catch. Devonta Freeman was going. I don't know, like what we do. Like some of our runs look really good, and other times they just get stopped in the backfield.
yeah.
Devonta Freeman doesn't have the speed he had before. Let's not try to take it outside with him.
Right. Yeah. And part of the thing, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the offensive line. Uh, the offensive line right now is definitely a project. It's a huge project, probably one of the biggest, or if not the biggest project on this Ravens roster right now, right in front of, I would say, the Ravens running back core or running back
Yeah.
room. It's been kind of rough. I'm not gonna lie. There's been pressure coming from that left side more often. On top of the fact that we're missing Makari right now on the right side at right
Mm-hmm.
tackle, so things it's just really not looking good right now. And there's been a clear and obvious difference in this team's and this offense's performance of when the offensive line is healthy or healthy enough at least, and just not healthy. I mean, and Makari makes a lot of the difference, right?
Yeah.
It makes a
Who
lot
would
of
have
the
thought?
difference. Who would have thought Patrick Makari would be the one saving grace of the
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens offensive line in 2021 in this season? I mean, it's just crazy to think about. But hey, man, like a lot of that pressure, like I said, is coming from the left side, and Ben Powers is there right now at the left guard
Oh,
spot. Just not really getting good push up front, and it hasn't been looking good. Villanueva, kind of been struggling a little bit recently
It's
as
you don't
well.
know
It's
what
been
Villanueva you're gonna get with him.
You don't
You
know.
don't.
You really don't know. It's a mystery, honestly. But is there any news on Ben Cleveland coming back anytime soon?
I think he should be returning to practice soon.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, he had been on IR for at least 3 weeks, so I kind of figured he'd be back soon. But yeah,
Oh,
man, that offensive,
he's
yeah,
getting close. They said he might not be ready, and Nick
yeah,
Boyle was close to playing Thursday. Then Harbaugh didn't elaborate on his availability going forward. Um, the Harbaugh said he was disappointed in Thursday, played poorly and lost the game, but we're in the fight. We're in first place. You know what? Like this AFC North is giving me like just vibes of
talk
last
about
year's
it.
NFC East. You don't
Mm,
know who's good in the division. You don't know who's going to win it. Every
yeah,
team's bad. They're not good. There's not a good team in our division. I'm just going to say it here. We're all frauds.
mm.
We're all
Every one
frauds.
of them, even the
Every single.
Bengals.
Yeah. Yeah. That
Yeah,
that loss against Mike
and the
White.
Jets. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel it. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. I can understand that. But I mean,
It's like who's going to be the bigger disappointment that week? You know? Who's gonna disappoint the division?
well, when you put it like that, when you put it like that, it makes a lot more
It's like,
sense.
okay,
Yeah.
the Ravens lost to the Dolphins, but then the Browns like, wait, I'm gonna get blown out by the Patriots, and the Steelers like, nah, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold
Hold
up.
my
I'm gonna
beer.
tie to the only winless team left.
Exactly.
You just don't know like who is. It's just a weird division, man.
It's a very weird division, but it's still, even while weird, it's still very, very competitive,
Yeah,
right? Because
it's
like,
must watch
yeah,
TV.
it
Must
is.
watch.
It is. And it's gonna heat up here very, very soon. I'd say about what, 2 or 3 weeks, because after we play the Bears, I'm pretty sure we have what, Browns, Steelers, then Browns again, right?
Yeah.
I think that's how it goes. So
Oh, we're getting to that part of the schedule.
yep.
Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
We're getting into the thick of it, as they would say.
Yeah.
But all right, let's see what else you guys are saying here in the chat room. We want to always, talk what you guys are talking about here in the chat. If you guys are not watching this live, you're part of the hashtag replay gang. Again, don't feel like your comments, your questions, your concerns are gonna go unnoticed. Just put them down below in the comment section, and we will get to you guys as well. But as far as what you guys are saying down here, Christopher Swain says, I just got news that Derek Wolfe is not coming back this season. One of my favorite players, a really good defensive lineman and really good at stopping the run. Yeah, and we wanted to get into this, so I guess we'll go ahead and talk about this now. Yeah, man, today it was announced, or Harbaugh announced that Derek Wolfe would not be coming back this season.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. Here on the Purple Rain podcast, I feel like we talked about that. Just like we talked about how, um, who else was it that got shut down? Ronnie
Ronnie
Stanley.
Stanley, and then we
Yeah,
were like, yeah, like he's probably done for the year, and the next day comes out.
there's always telltale signs, right? I mean, like when they say like, oh yeah, Derek Wolfe, he's still on IR, and then he comes about, oh, he's been activated to practice, but there's
Then he
no
practices
news
one
about
time,
him. One
one
time,
practice.
no
Then you never
news or
see him
any
again.
speculation about him playing in any game. You never see him. It's like, and that happens week to week to week to week to week.
Yeah,
So after a while, you kind of figure, okay, maybe this guy isn't coming back, and that
yeah,
was the case once again with one Derek Wolfe. So it seems like what we thought a couple weeks ago, hey, maybe the run defense will get better when we get Derek Wolfe back. That's not happening.
yeah.
So we can count that out. Another one we can count out, right? On top of Deshaun Elliott that we lost in the last game. So we're slowly but surely we're still losing guys. We're still losing guys, and we're still undoubtedly the most
Kicking us when we're
injured
down.
team in the league, the most injured team in the National Football League, and still somehow making it work here at 6-3. Shout out to us, right?
Shout out to us
Yeah,
indeed. I don't know
I
how
don't
we're
know
still
how we're
in
doing it.
first place.
2 words: Lamar Jackson, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah.
Let's see. We got Realm Ravens in the house. Says, "What's good, boys? What's up, Realm
What's up, bro?
Ravens? Thank you for joining the show. Appreciate you. What else are you guys talking about in here?" Marcel Allen says Mark Andrews also had a drop that was a touchdown. Did he? Am I
Did
missing
he?
it?
I know he did
You
against the
understand?
Vikings. He did. Okay, hold on. Speaking of Mark Andrews and drops, that was not incomplete. That was a
That
completed
was
pass.
not incomplete.
That was a completed pass. I don't know what they saw
Bruh.
versus what we saw. If you call it a catch and there's inconclusive evidence, that's why you just it's inconclusive. Like the original call stands or it's confirmed. I don't get
Yeah.
how there was no angle that showed him dropping the ball,
Right.
which I have a huge like that. And that right there was a game. I think that was like a second or third down too.
It was
That would have
second
given us
down.
first. That gives us the first, and
It
we
would
were
have given us a
driving.
first. Right. And I think we'd have been in Miami territory. Like you said, we would have been driving. But that, like, to me, that was so blatantly, like, that was such a blatantly bad call. I was expecting, like, the next day for the league to address, like, why was that overturned? You
Hey,
know what I
if
mean?
they said that Cassius Marsh was taunting, they're not gonna like.
But it's like, come on, man. Like you got to keep up the integrity of the sport, of the game. You know what I mean? And I feel like you're not doing that with calls like that. Because normally when we see that, a play is called a certain way on the field, they don't overturn that unless it's clear and 112% obvious
Yep,
that it should be going the other way.
yep.
They never do it. They never overturn it pretty much. So it's like, I don't see why they did that in that instant when, like you said, there was literally no angle, zero angles of that ball ever touching the ground, touching a blade of grass. It wasn't even close.
And you would have thought after the whole Dez caught it, Dez didn't catch it, which I thought he caught it. You would have thought this would have been figured out in 2014.
Right.
Here we are 7 years later, and it's only gotten worse. It,
Yeah.
I don't know what it catches sometimes
Right.
because it's just never consistent. Some refs are call it one way, other refs call it the other way. It's
Yeah.
just bad.
Yeah. We got a guy, Gerald, in the house. What's good, Gerald? Thank you for joining the
Gerald,
show. Says, what up, PRP? Blessings upon the gang.
that's the
Blessings
energy we
upon
need
you
in
too.
here.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's what we
Gerald.
need. That's exactly what we need, man. Kimberly in the house says, hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, Kimberly? Thank you for coming through. Join the stream. Let's see. Charles Xavier says at Purple Rain Podcast, you guys are such liars. The Titans and
Oh,
Cowboys have more players on IR and have a better overall record. How many players do the Titans or the Cowboys have on IR? I would like to know.
I
Can
will
somebody
look it
please let
up
me
right
know?
now. I will be
Yeah.
happy to look
Yeah,
it up right
please,
now.
please do. Please do. So we can get back to our guy Charles' comment there. Let's see. Taquan Christian says, is it Greg Roman being flustered and not knowing what to call? Hey, man, if that's the case, he needs to be out of town. Because, hey, I don't want an offensive coordinator who's going to get flustered when his initial game plan is not working. It's called contingency planning. You have to have a backup plan. Just like this guy, Batman, you know what I mean? On my chest right here. He always has a backup plan. So that's what our guys have to do. And that's what our guys really haven't been doing. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is, but let's see what else you guys are saying here before we move on. Joy Boy says he's mocking the fact that, but we're still first. Lame as hell because it doesn't feel like it. Happy being mediocre is pathetic. I agree.
So current players, the Giants have 17, Titans have 16, Broncos 15, Cowboys 15, Ravens 15. But total players, Ravens are top with 29. That's like
Jesus.
talking about more than like start everybody. Like your Amon Marshalls, like our depth, everybody, almost 30 players.
Yeah. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of players, man. Jeez, man. So, Charles, what do you have to say about that? Let us know. Let us know, please. And thank you. Boz says, like the video.
Boss
Thank
never
you so
lied.
much, Boz. Never lied. Never lied. Like the video.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to like act like I'm giving up on the season because I'm not. I'm
No.
not. But like I'm looking. I'm like, oh, bro. Like, can you just imagine next year? You know, we get Gus, J.K., we get Bateman with second season. We get Hollywood, Duvernay.
Right.
We might. I don't know who's out there receiver. I think we could use another receiver. You know, like a veteran presence. Hopefully it could be Watkins. I'm not saying it.
Mm.
You know, I'm just like, man, like get Ronnie Stanley back. get some, maybe sign an offensive lineman in free agency.
Hopefully.
Draft one, obviously. I mean, got to draft one. I'm thinking with this defense, like, okay, free some cap up. I mean, have either Bynes or Ford back with Queen. I mean, I'm just trying to think ahead, but I'm excited. Even no matter how this year ends, it'll be hurt, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I'm like putting all my eggs in next year's basket because this season's far from over. But it's just thinking about the potential of this team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the potential is sky high. It's through the roof. And unfortunately, it seems like this year injuries have definitely kind of plagued this year in the season. Because going into the season, we talked about it all summer, like what the Ravens would be capable of with who they have on their roster. I mean, you got to think about the guys who are missing. Like you said, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Marcus Peters, L.J. Fort, Deshaun Elliott. I mean, most recently. Derek Wolf, and all these guys, like it's just, it really adds up. It really does add up after a while, and you start to miss your playmakers. That's what they're there for. We're missing plays being made. So that's what it really boils down to. But we do have about 70 or so people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for coming through to this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast and watching live. Make sure you guys go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. We got a guy, Marcel Allen says, I already turned to the draft for O-line help next year. Lamar gets a little over $25 million, and looking at O-line free agents because we're going to have at least 4 new players on the O-line next year. Okay. O-line definitely has to be addressed, I think, first and foremost. That is probably one of the most positions of need that we have right now, especially considering that Ronnie Stanley he's going to be out for officially like a year and a half out, and we're paying him a lot of money, a boatload of money, in fact. So we're going to need some cheap talent in there in order to be kind of like patchwork to make up for that. But yeah. Let's see. Our guy Gerald says, why am I all of a sudden starting to feel strange about the Ravens going forward? Something just is not right about this team. Yeah, I think it starts with how we start. And let's talk about this again, just like us getting off to these slow starts. You notice when we get off to slow starts, either one or of two things happen. Either we barely squeak out a victory against no matter what team it is. They can be great, they can be bad, but we barely squeak out a victory, or we lose badly. It's one of those two things, But when we start fast, we blow teams out. I.e. Broncos, i.e. Chargers. You know what I mean? Like, we blow teams out. So the formula is there. Like, we have to get off to these quicker starts. And hey, listen, at John Harbaugh, at Greg Roman, at everybody on the Ravens coaching staff, I don't know what we got to do. I don't care what you got to do. Manufacture a touchdown drive on the very first drive. I don't care if it has to be a Pat Ricard manufactured drive, because we've seen that when they need it, they'll call on Pat Ricard's name to get them down the field, whether it be with blocking, whether it be with catching the football or doing whatever he does, but they will use him to get down the field and score a touchdown. Why not do that on the first drive? Why not put up 7 on the first opening drive? Because that's going to set the tone. I'm tired of other teams or our opponents setting the tone for us and us having to respond. That's not how it should be. That's not how it should be. I mean, that's just me. I don't know if I may sound crazy right now.
I can't agree with you more.
But yeah, man. Gerald says, have the Ravens had a fast start this season? Yeah, I mean, we did. 2 games, and both of those games were just kind of blowout games where just like, hey, I mean, the Ravens are just they're just that team, when they get off to a fast start, they fly. But yeah.
And just sometimes when you try to just come back every single game, there's just going to be a time where you just can't come back, and we've seen it. We saw it on Thursday, saw it against the Bengals. You're just going to come back. And that's the dangerous game you play, because I still don't know how we beat the Chiefs. We were down 14-0. Lamar had to just throw a pick 6 first drive, just had to brush that off, and we came back somehow.
Yeah.
But then these teams, like what the Dolphins did with the cover 0, it worked perfectly. That was a beautifully executed game. I'm jealous of Javon Holland. I wish the Ravens had him, because he's a star in the making. Literally was everywhere. But I just don't know, coming up against the Bears, how this defense can contain Justin Fields. Hope we can. We're going to have to deal with Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith. Oh, boy. That line better get ready. Akeem Hicks. Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like you said, we've got a lot to look forward to when it comes to these other teams that we have to play, because guess what? We will have to see that cover zero, cover one defense again, and I would say as early as this Sunday against the
Yeah.
Bears, because
And
they're gonna try to replicate it.
yeah, and don't and they this coaching staff needs to stop acting like teams are scared of us. We shouldn't
Yeah.
be scared of us because we have coaches that
Mm-mm.
don't adjust,
Right.
and we have an incompetent offensive coordinator who runs the same plays he ran in 2011.
Yeah. So, man. All right. So let's see. Yolanda here, speaking of offensive coordinator, says, "Do you think Harbaugh will fire his friend Greg Roman? I would be shocked if that happened."
Harbaugh wouldn't, but I hope the owner would step in.
Somebody's got to step in at some point, right? Because you can't. I don't think you can really point to. And, obviously they might chalk this year up to injuries. Hey, look, half the team was injured, pretty much. What are the coaches really going to do? Which is,
Strength and conditioning. There you go.
yeah. I
Take a
mean, but
deeper
like I
look.
said, it kind of in a way I could say that's a little bit fair. It's like, hey, you're missing a lot of your top playmakers, right?
Yeah,
J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Marcus Peters. You're missing a lot of top guys. So I get that, but at the same time, when you look at a game like that Dolphins game that transpired on Thursday Night Football, that is a blatant, like, just like you could just tell it's coaching. The adjustments just were not there. The Dolphins were so comfortable, too comfortable, running that same defense, knowing that there was nothing we could do to get him out of it. They had us beat. You know what I mean? They had our number the entire night. And that was just sad to watch. So, I mean, do I think that Harbaugh will fire his friend Giro? Like Alex said, I don't think Harbaugh will, because Harbaugh is he's one of those guys who is like, he's very loyal to his guys.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And unless, somebody higher up steps in, we could be seeing this for a while. And we would have to be relying on the playmakers to bail out our coordinators, you know. But hey, that is what it is. We got about 85 people watching right now live. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you like the video, subscribe if you are new. But what are you going to say, Alex?
Yeah. Another thing too is we just don't play players to their strengths.
Mm.
Hollywood isn't a possession receiver.
No.
Hollywood is a yak receiver who you get him the ball, let him run, let
Yeah.
him get yards after catch, and that's where things happen. Oh my gosh, they're running man coverage. The Dolphins ran man coverage week 1, 2019, and we torched them 59-10. Oh my god, run a fucking drag route with Duvernay and Hollywood, two guys who could be track stars, and see what you can do. But instead, they're running just deep out routes, which, surprise, surprise, the offensive line can't protect more than 3 seconds. You can run short out routes, and we saw that garbage time. Bateman was running them. Don't know why we didn't earlier, but it's like it's short routes. That's what would beat the cover zero, cover one, or go 5 wide. Make them put somebody else out there. And let's not line up Pat Ricard, Devonta Freeman as a receiver because nobody respects them. Sorry. When they're lined up outside, they're not going to respect them. Maybe in the backfield, they'll respect them. It's just a lot of stuff that I just don't understand. Like, it's like watching like a little kid play Madden. It's like, no, don't run a fake punt. Don't do that. But they do it either way, and that's what it is watching the Ravens coaches sometimes. Like, don't do it, but you still do it.
Yeah. Taquan Christian says here, Hollywood is not Julio Jones, Greg Roman.
2 different receivers.
Definitely not. And that's another reason why, like, I think that Rashad Bateman is slowly but surely becoming my favorite receiver on the Ravens offense. Like, I really trust me, I love what Hollywood Brown is doing. Like, I love what I see from him, just catching the ball and just turning upfield for yards after the catch. I love that. But what Rashad Bateman is to me is a certified chain mover. He's that guy.
He's a do-it-all.
He's a do-it-all. He's a certified chain mover to me, first and foremost, because it seems like whenever he is getting involved in the offense, it's for a first down, and it's a tough catch too. You saw the tough contested catch he had on third down and move the change against the Dolphins. Like, and that's his third game in his career. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go, like, going forward, he's going to be that guy in the playoffs where when our backs are up against the wall, we're looking for him. We're calling on his name to make a big, tough, contested catch on third and whatever to come up big for us. And he seems like to be that guy. Big catch radius, like we talked about all off season. Speed. He has sneaky speed as well, and just hands like no other, man. Second to none when it comes to the hands, man. So it's like, this guy is going to be special. Like we talked about earlier in the episode, he led the team in receiving against the Dolphins, and I don't think that goes for nothing. That's something worth mentioning. Rashad Bateman, and they actually sat him out for a little bit of that game. Unfortunately, just like Raven Ron says here, why doesn't Bateman get more targets? He definitely should.
I think
it seems like Lamar likes him.
Deserves more targets too.
Yeah.
I don't know why we aren't. Maybe he's just being covered a lot better, but we have guys who can catch the ball. But one of my issues was Lamar was kind of forcing some stuff to Hollywood. And it was just when you're throwing to Hollywood, it has to be on the dot because he is a shorter receiver.
Yeah.
But a guy like Andrews, Bateman, even a Watkins, longer radius. There's just a lot of problems with this team, unfortunately. And we're 6-3. A lot of teams would be just drooling over the fact of where we are, but they're not.
Yeah. We're very lucky, honestly, to be where we are record wise, and still atop the AFC North. Think about that. With everything the Ravens have been going through, we are still leading the division 11 weeks into the season.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I just feel like we're spoiled as fans because if you would have told me this, if you would have said the Ravens are 6-3 at this time, leading the division, would you take it? Of course I'd take it. But now it's like, yeah, but I want more.
Right. Yeah. We definitely want more, man, as Ravens fans, because it just seems like we're 6-3, so it feels like we're right there. You know what I mean? We're at the top of our division. It's looking like we'll probably make the playoffs. Why can't we just break through?
Hey, this is a tough spot of our schedule, man. This is this is where it'll show if we're for real or not. This is it.
Yeah, it's gonna get very tough, especially because, like I said, we got the Bears coming up next. Then after that, we got Browns, Steelers, Browns.
Yep.
That is going to be tough. Oh my gosh, that is going to be tough.
And then Packers.
And then the Packers. We also got the Rams to end the season as well, and whoever else in between. But we got about 90 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for coming through and joining us tonight on this episode of PRP, episode 84. And we got our guy Gerald coming in here, making it rain here on the Purple Rain podcast, episode 84. Thank you so much. We appreciate you each and every time. Says, hey, my two best players are Sutton Def and Simply ES10.
Thank you.
Man. Thank you so much. You guys are still making it rain with facts. Thank you, man. We try. We love you. We appreciate you. Yeah, we do love you. Yeah, let's see. King says, I'm not worried about the Browns. They're a false image.
Oh.
They've been looking kind of phony
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. We got our guy Charles Xavier chiming back in and says, PRP, I said IR. Secondly, Greg Roman made Lamar Jackson, made 3 straight NFC championships with the 49ers and a Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick. Lamar will collapse without Greg Roman. Believe that.
I see.
All right.
I see. I will keep my thoughts to myself.
I mean, clearly trolling, man. To say I really stopped. I was reading, but I kind of stopped reading after Greg Roman made Lamar Jackson. Come on, man. Come on. Have you seen what Lamar Jackson has been able to manufacture on the football field?
There's Lamar made Louisville relevant.
Come on.
I get Teddy was really first round, bro, but
yeah.
What Lamar did at Louisville. You even saw he got his number.
Come on.
Got his number retired. That's pretty cool. Very cool.
Exactly. You don't Greg Roman does not make Lamar Jackson convert 4th and 19s or 4th and 9s for touchdowns to win the game. He just doesn't do that. Lamar Jackson does that. So to say that Greg Roman makes
Marty Morningwig at
right. So what are we really talking about? We got our guy Savigs coming in here with another super chat donation. Thank you so much, man. Making it rain here on episode 84. PRP says, what up, y'all? Lamar does not deserve this BS. Never gave him a wide receiver 1 and has not fixed the O-line since Yonder retired. If this keeps up, our Super Bowl window will be closed soon. Hashtag fire bum-ass Roman.
I can really agree with the O-line. I can get behind that 100%. I don't think we've done anywhere close to fixing this O-line.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that they've done is sign Ronnie Stanley to that big deal.
I mean, the Kevin Zeitler signing I still like. I like Zeitler. I like
like
having
that.
him.
I do like
but
that. Yeah, he's been playing well. Yeah.
I just have a problem once again with why are you trying to rush back an offensive lineman, especially on an ankle injury, a broken ankle, where you put all your weight on trying to block somebody, you rush him back.
Yeah, doesn't make sense. And now you see where we are when it comes to the offensive tackle position and just that entire offensive line as a whole. But I mean, I agree with Savigs as well, saying, if this keeps up and we don't invest in the things that help out Lamar, this Super Bowl window will close.
I look at the Titans, they lost Derrick Henry, don't have Julio Jones, but they beat the Rams last week. Yeah. Good. But it goes to show it's any given Sunday. Any team can lose.
Given Sunday. Yeah. Absolutely. Let's see. So let's go ahead and leave it there for the just kind of our grievances and what's the real problem with the Ravens. We hope you guys got a lot out of that. There was a lot of problems. There is a lot of problems with the Ravens right now, or there are a lot of problems, but it's hopefully they can be fixed going forward. We still do have a lot of season left. It's not like we can no longer say it's early because it's not early.
It's not. We're getting into the thick of the season where
into the thick of it.
You find out what teams are for real and what teams are phonies.
Are phonies, yeah. Absolutely.
Let's call it what it is. And it's hard to say what this team is. Very hard.
But I guarantee you'll know exactly what this team is 14 days from today. I guarantee you. Next 2 games. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So Bears, an NFC opponent that we should beat up on. If we don't take care of business in Chicago, that'll tell you right there. And then if we go when we play the Browns and we stink it up, that tells you right there. Hey, we're not contending with these NFC teams. We're not contending with the AFC teams, even the AFC teams in our division. So, the Ravens, I mean, hey, there's still a lot to look forward to, guys. There really is. But there's also a lot to be concerned about at this very moment in time. So we got to take everything into consideration and take everything with a grain of salt. The Ravens will be fine. But, they got to get better too. They got to get better. Yeah. So, like I said, we'll go ahead and leave that there. We're going to go ahead and get into a little bit of around the league stuff before we get out of you guys here for tonight, before Monday Night Football comes on. Around the league, a couple surprising things. First and foremost for me, the Bucks losing to the Washington football team and Taylor Heineke. I
watched that whole game. Yes, Taylor Heineke against the Buccaneers is just different. Heineke against the Bucks is like Joe Flacco in the playoffs. You just know he's going to be good. 2 games now, those have been his best games he played. Crazy.
Yeah. He was letting it rip. He had that touchdown pass to who was it? What, DeAndre Carter or somebody like that? I don't know. Yeah. He had a really nice touchdown pass, I think, in the second quarter or late first quarter. Mm-hmm. That defense, even without Chase Young or Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen,
I didn't like seeing him go down. Chase Young's one of my favorite non-Ravens. That kind of hurt.
Yeah. Big prayers go out to Chase Young, obviously ending his season yesterday, tearing his ACL.
Non-contact.
Never non-contact injury. You hate to hear things like that with any player from any team. So hopefully he gets better. Wishing for a speedy recovery for him. We got a guy, Tyreek TV, actually my coworker, says the football team is like that. What's up, Ty? Thank you for joining the stream, man. I mean, football team, they, I don't know. It's kind of week to week with them. I'm not really, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what you're going to get. But it was kind of cool to see them beat, knock off the defending Super Bowl champions, especially since they're technically the home team, at least from where I'm from. But yeah, Devon Johnson in the house says hashtag Rain Gang. What's up, Devon? Thank you for joining the show. What were some other things that surprised you from yesterday?
The Patriots just beating up on the Browns. Absolutely shredding them apart. shredding them.
I mean, at this point, are the Patriots like Super Bowl contenders? They've
I'm
been
not gonna
looking
say
good.
Super Bowl. I'm not gonna say Super Bowl, but you got to keep your eyes on them. That defense is the fact that imagine if they had Stephon Gilmore still.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely,
I mean,
definitely. I think gonna make the playoffs. They'll be in the playoffs.
yeah, and I feel like they'll probably be a very dangerous team in the playoffs as well because you think about what gets you through the playoffs. I mean, a good defense, which is what the Patriots seem to have right now, and then also a quarterback who does not make mistakes, which they had for a long time in Tom Brady, and it seems like they also have now with Mac Jones. Like Mac Jones, he
Yeah,
does not make mistakes. Yesterday, he tossed what 3 touchdowns.
yeah,
So he's looking good offensively as well. Being aggressive with it. I think he had a really nice touchdown, like threading the needle between 2 defenders, trusting this guy to go up and make a play, and it's just a perfect throw on the money. Um, so yeah, Mac Jones he's been looking very good, undoubtedly the best out of all the rookie quarterbacks. So,
yep,
like you said, they are definitely a team to watch out for sure,
yeah.
for sure. Yeah. So let's see.
We can talk about how Cam Newton is back.
That's what I was gonna
Two
say next.
plays, two
He is
touchdowns.
back. Cam
That
Newton is
was
back,
that
man.
was cool to see. It took me back. It was good.
Yeah,
It was good seeing him produce back with the
it did.
Panthers.
And then after his first touchdown, like the touchdown run, he like takes off his helmet, gets in the camera. He's like, "I'm
Bro,
back. I'm
his
back."
voice was so high. You could tell how much
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
so
It was
hyped.
very, very emotional moment for Cam, and like you said, very happy for him. Because he was kind of being well, not kind of. He was definitely being disrespected. There's not
Yeah.
32 quarterbacks in the league better than Cam Newton.
And then what's also funny is that Robbie Anderson wasn't doing anything this year.
Right.
Cam Newton comes in, first passing play he throws, touchdown to Robbie Anderson.
Scores a touchdown, and then you see like post game, they're like doing the interview together, taking selfies together and whatnot,
Yeah.
which tells me Sam Darnold's done.
It's time to just kind of put Sam Darnold on that Josh Rosen level.
Ooh.
I think I just don't see what. I mean, obviously Rosen's like bottom of the barrel, but what they're kind of just 1A and 1B at this point.
I mean, yeah, I think that's fair to say. I mean, Sam Darnold was playing his best football when Christian McCaffrey was well and healthy, on that offense. And then when he went down, it kind of exposed him for who he really is. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, missing throws and just making the wrong reads, things like that, making mistakes, bad decisions. So yeah, I mean, at this point, I think I tweeted it like last week. Like, does this mean that Sam Darnold is a bona fide bust? You're saying yeah?
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna agree with you.
Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it. Everything else kind of went as expected
The
yesterday. At least I
Cowboys
feel like
absolutely shredded the Falcons.
Cowboys shredded the Falcons. Yeah.
That wasn't even funny. They
Yeah.
imposed their will. CeeDee Lamb doing his thing. One more thing, or two more things. The Packers Seahawks.
Mm,
2-star quarterbacks who look just bad, not
mediocre.
like themselves. Throwing interceptions in the red zone. Hell, Jamal Adams got a pick. It was a weird game. It was a weird game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then DK Metcalf getting in fights. Not a good look. It hasn't been a good look season for him.
No. Definitely hasn't.
It's
for your
hard
boy
being
Decalen
DK
Zacarias.
I'm glad you know his full name. I wasn't gonna say it. He doesn't deserve it.
Oh my gosh.
And then I guess final touch up. I mean, the Chiefs just doing their thing against the Raiders.
Bouncing back.
Daniel Sorensen actually did something productive yesterday.
Yeah. I mean the Chiefs, I don't think that anybody doubted for a second that they would, not be back at some point.
See, but they're making it out as if we did. As if we said they were.
Come on.
Come on now.
Like they struggled. It's like, come on, man. Like it's the Chiefs. Like, at some point they're gonna get it together. Like they've been doing this for years.
The whole West now is literally just the Broncos blown out by the Eagles. The Chargers 5-4 started off really good. 5-4 lost to the Vikings. And you just blew out the Raiders.
Right. Yeah. So But speaking of other NFC teams, and we'll go ahead and leave the show with
Yeah.
this. Let's give our
Yes.
predictions, our score predictions for tonight, Monday Night Football. 49ers and the Rams tonight on prime time. This should actually be
Yeah.
pretty interesting in terms of like who's playing.
Yeah.
We've got the debut of Odell Beckham Jr. in a LA
Mm-hmm.
Rams uniform, along with
And
Matt Stafford. What's
and
up? Hmm.
Von Miller.
Von
Von
Miller.
Miller.
Yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, Robert Woods tore his ACL
Yeah.
the other day in practice, so he is done for the season.
Speaking of the
But
Rams, Deshaun
yeah,
Jackson asked for his release. Did you see that fumble from him last night?
I did not catch that.
He literally caught a deep ball, like looked, he just like ran not even towards the end zone, and then fumble. It was look it up. It's a very wonky play. It looked like he was trying to fumble the ball. It was bad. First catch fumble.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I might have to look back into that. So we got our guy Hoodie Ramey in the building. Big shout out to Hoodie Ramey. Was a guest on the show just a couple weeks ago.
Indeed.
If you haven't seen that episode, make sure you go ahead and check that out as well. But yeah, big shout out to you, Hoodie Ramey. We appreciate you for coming through. But yeah, our score predictions for tonight's game. Who do you got, Alex?
Got the Rams.
Rams.
Yeah. I mean, score prediction 31-17. Go to the Rams. I think we'll see a bounce back. Speaking of the Rams, you know what? I just gotta say this to the people who know me. Jared Goff is fucking trash. I've defended him too much. I literally have put my
Here we
life on the
go.
line. I put my life on the line for him. And what did he do? He spit in my face. Bro didn't even throw for 100 yards in 4. Like, bro, what oh man. It's not,
Oh,
bro.
gosh.
I wish this was here in 2018 when the Rams made the Super Bowl, because I was a big Goff fan. Like, bro, like I wish I have to post some of my old Goff tweets probably. But yeah, he's just a Joe Flacco, but worse now. Got the contract and just dipped off. So
Hey man, I don't want to say it be like that sometimes, but us Ravens
it
fans
be like
know
that sometimes.
it be like that
It
sometimes.
be like
So
that sometimes.
yeah. But yeah, man, I think I'm gonna agree with our guy Jonathan Washington Jr. here. 27-21 Rams. I think it'll be a little bit
Okay.
closer than we expect.
Division game.
Division game. I think the 49ers will be a little bit scrappy in it. 27-21 Rams. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and leave this episode of the Purple Rain Podcast, episode 84. We're gonna leave it right here. Thank you guys so much for coming out to the live stream. We appreciate you guys so much, man. As always, before you get out of here, make sure you like this video. Like the video before you leave. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new and you enjoyed tonight's content. We'd appreciate you so much. It helps our channel out a ton. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast, because you get all your latest updates for, Purple Rain Podcast, Ravens, everything on there. Make sure you do that. You can follow us individually. You can follow this cool cat over here, Simply AS10 on Twitter at Simply AS10, on Instagram at Simply AS10.prod. Make sure you guys give him a follow. He is a great follow.
Thank you.
Also, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Sutton Def as well. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. With that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out for the night.
And as always, thank you for coming through to episode 84. Josh Oliver, Ed Dixon. I'm trying to think other people were 84. Kind of drawing a blank. Of the Purple Rain Podcast. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
And never, ever, ever forget to call God. This has been episode 84 of the Purple Rain Podcast. We're going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.